All right, so XenDesktop, there has been a major architectural shift, architectural change. We talked about a lot of the different components. Those of you that are coming from a XenApp background are going to be looking for certain things that you're probably not going to find anymore. So for instance, the whole concept of a farm doesn't exist anymore. The whole idea of the IMA doesn't exist anymore. So remember, the idea that you have all of these different servers, and technically they're all controllers at the same time because that's how the installation of XenApp worked, and that they communicate between one another using IMA, and they elect one of them to be sort of the data collector, the master server, that holds certain data that the others maybe don't hold except a subset of. So that whole concept goes away because with XenDesktop, we no longer have every one of those servers being a controller. We have a VDA for all of the resources, whether they're servers, desktops, physical PCs, virtual machines, whatever the case may be. We have VDAs for those, and then you have dedicated controllers. As a result, the concept of a farm doesn't really exist anymore. The construct of the farm, the backbone of the farm was that IMA. With the IMA being abolished or discontinued, the need for a farm no longer exists. No more shadow taskbar. So previously with XenApp, and to a larger extent with XenDesktop for a while there, you could use ICA to shadow your users. Now, this is a point of debate whether this is better or worse, etc. But Citrix has made a decision that instead of leveraging ICA for the shadow task, the remote control piece of a session. So if a user calls up and says, "Hey, I'm having some issues, and I need your help." In the past, Citrix would call shadowing what is remote control, essentially taking control of that session, being able to interact with it, seeing what's going on in that session, using mouse and keyboard strokes to interact with it. That was previously over ICA. Today they're using the built-in remote assistance that Microsoft provides. The argument there is, why put more overhead over ICA when you can offload that task onto remote assistance? From experience, remote assistance works pretty well, and you don't need the scalability, functionality, or the performance of ICA for those types of tasks. And the reason for that is, if you're shadowing someone, typically all of that operation is happening inside your data center. Most likely your help desk is probably close by as well. Most likely. That's not necessarily the case. But if the help desk is also using some kind of a XenApp or XenDesktop, then the likelihood of the session that they're trying to shadow from, remote control from, is also centralized. So the need for ICA is to a larger extent diminished. Now, there are people that will make the argument about ICA still being a better choice, and again, depending on where you're connecting from and where the help desk is. We're not going to get into that argument. For all intents and purposes, from experience, from what I've seen, the remote assistance has been pretty well. It's performed decent. The idea of application streaming has also been discontinued. Citrix had in the past a technology that would allow you to kind of do application virtualization like technology. That's been discontinued in exchange for complete support and adoption of Microsoft AppV. So the supported application virtualization platform for XenApp and XenDesktop moving forward is AppV, and the application streaming component that you've come to be familiar with XenApp, that's been discontinued. Delegated administration, that's become a significantly more robust. In the past, it's been very basic. From a delegated administration perspective, we have an entire module dedicated to that. So we'll get into delegated administration. Just know that it is significantly more elaborate than what you've been used to so far.